Alright, so welcome back again. My name is Jesse, and in this wonderful and exciting tutorial, we're trying to doing a simple project on package development, right, in Python. So we're trying to go through this simple workflow in which you're going to have an idea for a package project. Then you're going to see how to design it, build it, and then deploy and publish it, right? So this is going to be our simple workflow. So the first stage in building any package is, first of all, is a design phase, right? So in the design phase, you're going to specify the purpose of your package, right? The name of the package is important, the purpose of the package, right? Most of the time you connect these things together, right? The name and the purpose of the package, the problem the package is intended to solve, which is very, very important, and then you must specify your requirements. Then you code the actual package, you do unit testing, you do refactoring. So this is all going to be part of the design phase, right? Then after that, you're going to build your package. So the first phase is design, right, in which you're going to get the name of the package, the problem the package is intended to solve, the purpose of the package, the requirements, the code, unit testing, code refactoring. Then you move on to the next stage, is going to be your build stage. So for the build stage, you can use Twine to upload, you can use Real, Poetry, PyTest, TOS coverage to help you with the build, and then test coverage and everything. Then you can build it as you build two things, right? You're going to build the documentation, which is sometimes for some of the licenses you'll be using, the documentation is still part of the actual code, right? So you will build your docs, right, which is very, very important, so that it's easy for other people to know what your package does and how to use it. And then when you build it, you build your docs. You can use Mkdocs, you can use Fins, and you can host it on GitHub pages, or you can host it on your website, or Readthedocs. That is going to be the next stage. Then you can also build the package itself, and then you deploy it on PyPI or on Git packages, right? Very simple. So that is going to be the simple workflow we're using. So anytime you deploy a package on PyPI, we have this. How PyPI is, right? So PyPI is a repository whereby you can find all the packages that you can use in Python. And there's also PyPI docs or PyPI stats that gives you the option of tracking the top packages over the time, right? These are the most downloaded packages for the day, right? Very cool. So let's check it out. Let's see what that package has to offer us. So that is something simple, right? So let's start from scratch. So before we start, a package in Python is simply any file, right? Any folder that is having this particular structure. So anytime you create a folder in Python, right, and it's having the __ init __.py, this particular thing here defines any folder as a package, right? Very simple. You can place in all your other Python code, but once it's having this __ init __.py, that means that it's a package, right? You can import it as a library, you can import it anywhere. So let's see how to build our project from scratch. So this is going to be the first stage, which is going to be the design stage, right? So I'll come back again to my workspace here. There's nothing here. Move on to my document, right? Perfect. And now the first thing that you must get the problem you want to solve. So let's go back and define our stuff. So the name of the package. So let me copy this one here. It's still part of the design phase, right? So the name of the package, we need a name for the package, we need the purpose of the package, and then we need the problem it's trying to solve. So we want to build a package to be able to provide health indicators. So health indices, and then indicators, right? Indicators, right? So health indicators refers to mortality, body mass index, body adipose index, all of those various things. That is health indicators. So the purpose is just to help do the same thing. A simple, like, say, unified package for all health indicators, right? So let's research what we mean by health indices. So I'll go back again to Wikipedia, or not Wikipedia, but just Google health indices. So health indices is a guide to health sector planning. So we have here, right, something like that. So this is either health indicators. So health indicators are quantifiable characteristics of a population, right? So this gives us an idea of what you're trying to build. So we're trying to build a simple unified package that gives you the option of tracking mobility, health status, disability, all of these things. These are all formulas that you'll be trying to use, right? And also be adding indices to it, right? So let's go back again to PyPI, and then still all this we are doing here is still part of the design phase. I want to get the name of the package, so let's use a name that you remember. So I'll check it if the name is available. Indices. So the name is not there. There's climate indices, there's Django indices, health one, right? So that means that I can use that particular name. And we also have indicators. Yeah, so that name is not there, right? So that means that we can either use indicators or indices. So let's go back again. So we have found our name, right? The name that you're using. So either we are using health indices or health indicators. But I prefer to go with the indices because it sounds nice. Right. So let's go with the health index. So we have gotten this, right? Perfect. So I'm just going to go back again, and then I'll just go to GitHub. That is the first place. So this is our GitHub. We have this is a personal GitHub, and this is a company GitHub, right? So I just go back again, and I'm going to create on my GitHub page. I'm going to create a particular folder. So I just go back to this new, right? Click on the new on your GitHub page. Then I'm just going to give it the name. So it's recommended that anytime you are giving a repository name, use lowercase. So health indices. Let's see whether the spelling is correct. Right, health indices, right? So that is the name of the package. So this is going to be a unified package or library or a unified collection of health indices and then health indicators. So e.g. BMI, body adipose index, copulus index, right? etc. Right? So that's something like that, right? So that the person will have an idea of it. Then let's make it public. We want everybody to have access to it. Then you can also initialize with this repository with a readme. We need it. You can also add a git ignore, right? This time we can just make it none, or we can just pick one for Python files. So let's pick it for Python. 1, 2, yeah, right. Or but let's keep it as none, right? Perfect. And then you can also choose a license. So in choosing a license, there can be different rules. So let's use MIT. You can use Apache 2, you can use MIT. Apache 2 doesn't include the documentation as part of the code, but MIT does, right? So I'll just go back again. Yeah, we are done with it. So everything is well. So let's take off the git ignore. And let's click on create. So this is going to create a simple repository called health indices packages, right? Very simple, very nice. And you can see that there's nothing there. We have our license, everything is there. Now go back here, copy this one here, and then I'll just go back again to our workspace where we'll be working. So go back into JDev. There's my development place. Or let's go back to my GitHub page. So cd into JGitHub, right? And I'm going to paste it. So git clone. I'll paste it here. I'm going to clone it into that location, and that's where we'll be working on. So I'll move into my health indices. Right, there's nothing else. This is the same thing that we had here, right? Perfect. So that is the first thing, right? Now we are still here in the design phase. We need to be able to start building some stuff. So there's a very nice package called Poetry that allows you to be able to design packages very simple. So Poetry can be found from here. So let's check it out. Poetry Python. Yep, it's a very nice. It makes your work very, very easy. I don't know why I think internet, yeah, there's it. My internet is slow, I don't know. Either my laptop, yeah, there's it. So it's a very powerful Python dependency management and packaging library. So in case you don't have it, you can just follow the instructions to install it on your system. I already have installed it, so just go back again. This is how it is. Very simple, right? It's very easy to use. So in case you want to work on it or to install it, just go back again. Let's check it out. So go back to introduction, right, and then installation, right? So this is the installation. So you can just follow the installation format. I prefer to use this particular install, right? You just copy this one here, you come back, you copy this, then you install it. So I'll copy this one. That is in case you are using Mac OS Linux or Bash or Windows. Go back to your workspace, then you just paste it here, right? I already have it, so we're not to be installing it. I already have installed it already. That is what we need, right? So if I go with Poetry, that help, because I already have installed Poetry on my system already. Yep, perfect. So everything is installed, as you can see. So I have Poetry already installed. Perfect. That's what we're trying to use to help make our work very, very easy. So I just go back again and come back again to Poetry. So Poetry, new, right? Then I'm going to give it the same name. So health indices. So the same location that I'm having, it's going to create a package inside health indices. So it's creating it. So this is the name of the package, right? Health indices underscore. Perfect. So if I go back again, I check it out. So we have it here. I go with 3. You can see the structure there, right? Very, very nice, right? Okay. So let's open it to Sublime. And then we'll start checking it out. So we have inside our health indices, we have the health indices packages again. We have the init file, which is having nothing. So I'm just going to change it from 0.01 to 0.1. This is the first version of the package. Then we also have the test file, right, which is empty. And I'll change this one to 0.1. Perfect. So Poetry gives you a simple way of tracking whatever you're doing using a Py project toml file, which is this particular file here. So with this, you can be able to describe or make corrections, right? So this is what it's going to be used to track. So Poetry gives you just one file, PyPoetry, PyProject.toml, to be able to work with your, how do you call it? It's going to be a replacement for this. Let's put it here. Now, in most of the time, when it's a Poetry, right? So this is it, and then this installation. Yeah, installation, right? Here's the installation, and then in case it's going to produce this one, pyproject.toml file, right? So this one is going to be a replacement of setup.py file, and then your requirements .py file, right? All of these things. So etc. So this is going to be used. Poetry is going to be used to replace all of these 3 things, making your work easy. So this one will be equivalent to using these 3 things in case you are developing from the traditional way, right? Okay, so I'll come back again to what you had here. Let's go back. So I'm going to keep the description, so I'm going to change the version to version 1, right? Perfect. And then the description, so I'm just going to use the same description. So a collection, a unified can't spell collection, yes, etology of health indicator indices and indicators, right? E.g. BMI, right? Something like that, or BAI, right? etc. Right? That is the description. Then this is going to be your author name. So you can also modify this. This is my email here. So let's make it like JCharis. So I just give the name that you want. Right, perfect. And then this is it, right? So that is all. You can also add keywords, you can also add the language. So we'll be doing that one later on. So I just go back again, close this one, and then you build our main file, right? So I just go back again to the same place and create another file. I'm going to call that as my health indices. This is going to be the name of the package itself. So health, not inside my test, but inside this place. Right, you only have the underscore in it. So I want to create another file here, which is going to be my health indices.py. Perfect, right? So that is something very simple. You see that I brought the underscore here to avoid conflict. Now, perfect. So this is going to be our package. So we're going to put our, this is where the code is going to be, right? So you can actually create a class, but let's make it like a collection of functions. So it is going to be a collection of functions. So the functions we'll be using is going to be like this. We'll be using body mass index, we also be putting, let's say something like, let's say body adipose index, and then we will put all the various things that we need. Let's say mortality rate, mortality rate, all the various indicators, which is, let's say, prevalence, all of these things, right? So be putting in there. So I already have the code there, so I'm just going to paste it, then later on we work on it later, otherwise it's going to take a lot of time. So I'll come back again, let me expand it. Right, there's it. Paste the code here. Right, so these are all the formulas, all the various formulas that you'll be using, right? This is just formulas, a collection of formulas, right? So we are using this one to make sure that it is UTF-8 encoded. Then we are just importing division to help us with our division, and then we have it like this. So this format of documentation is not the best way, right? So the best thing is that instead of me putting the formula here, right, I can just copy this one and then put it here, right? The dot strings, and this is going to be very important, right? So I can just go with body mass index BMI, give the description. No, not this one. Yeah, so body mass index, which is going to be BMI, so it's going to be something like this. So body mass index, right? So what does body mass index? You can also give the params, right? And I can also give the usage, right? So these are the things that we use. So go with this option here and go with this option here, right? To make it, so the params are going to be the parameters to be using. So we have mass. So you can use typings. There's a whole tutorial on typings to make your work easy, so that at least you have something. So you can just, it's going to be an integer or a float, right? It's going to be the mass of the body, so mass of the person, right? Then there's going to be the height, which is equal to integer or float. So height of the person in centimeters, right? Something like that, right? So it gives us documentation. Then I can also specify the usage, which is going to be like this. So from health underscore index, let's make it like health index. Sometimes I feel like using this option can be difficult, right? But if I make it like this, it's going to be too long. So let's make it like this: health index. Import. See how I export it. From health index import, let's say BMI, right? Then I'm going to pass in BMI, pass in the person's height, which is let's give it a value. So mass, say the mass of the person, let's say 65 kg. Then the height going to, let's say 170, right? Something like that. And this is going to give us the result, right? So this is the formula to work on it. So this is something very simple we have done. So this is how to do the documentation, right? So this is going to make it easy for us, right? Very simple. I'll save it here, and now let's go back and see. We are finished. So I have a lot of formulas. Later I'll be working on it, but I'm showing you how to do the proper documentation for your package. You have to put it here, right? Not on top, right? But down there. So I can do the same thing for the rest, but I'll do that later, just to save us time. Perfect. So let's write a test, right? You have to write a simple unit test for this simple function to make sure that it's working. So one thing is that I'm just giving it as a short form here, and then the long form here, right? So that at least you can use any of them, body mass index or body mass index, like that. So I'll go back again, copy the same thing we have. Paste it here, right? Perfect. And I'm just going to change it from this. So import body mass index. So body mass index. I don't know whether this is the best option, right? Should I make it like this? Body mass index like this, which is, it looks funny anyway, yeah? But I think this is better. Body mass index, like the whole thing. It's better you do it like this, but it'll be too long for anybody to spell, right? So let's keep it like this. So this is where the API design comes inside, that you need a team to help you know the kind of convention you'll be using, right? But let's go with this. So body mass index, something like that, right? Okay, so this is something very simple. Now let's go back again and check it out, make sure that the app is working. So to be able to make sure that it is working, let's go back again, the same location, move into the health indices. We have our Pi project. Let's go with Poetry shell, then it's going to activate that particular environment for us, right? So I'll be able to run the code from there, right? See that it has created a virtual environment there. So here I'll just go with my Python 3. Let me bring myself down here. Python 3. So this case here we are using from here, so I can now import it. It's going to be import health indices. That has imported, right? Now I can just go with DRL to get health indices, right? So everything is there, right? Very simple. Now let's see, everything's there, but we can't do anything. Let's try and see. So from health, I think I don't like this format. I prefer the dash one. The health indices, from health indices, import. Let's see whether we able to import BMI. So that BMI cannot be imported, right? So it's telling that we can't import BMI. So the solution for this is just go back again to your index.html file right here. Then you'll be importing all the various things there. So the solution is just go back again and go it from here, right? From dot right health underscore indices import BMI, right? So you can import it BMI, body mass, but I prefer to import all, right? Because they are a lot. In case you define everything, we'll just go with them, right? So I'll go back again, get out of this place, and then run it again. So if I come back again and I just go back, import this, see the difference. See that now we have all the various functions which are found on our package itself, right? So the solution is that we have to import everything inside our init file so that you'll be able to see it, right? That's why when I did the DRL, I can get all the various functions: body adipose index, body build index, birth rate, BMI, body adipose, body build, body index, like all of them. All the various indices are there, right? Even including the math, right? Very simple. So sometimes it's better you specify the particular ones you want to import so that it doesn't import everything here, right? Perfect. So the app is going to work. So I go back again and I check back again from this place. We have imported it, so I can just do from health indices import BMI, right? And let's check and see BMI. Let's pass in the height, the mass is. So with this I can just do with this help pass in BMI. Let's see the documentation. So now it has given us the same documentation that we had in our code here. Now we had this particular documentation here. That is the documentation you are seeing from here, right? So that is why sometimes you should give documentation to make it easy for the person to be able to know what it requires, right? Okay. So let's try it again. So BMI, I'll pass in there. Let's say the mass of let's say 60 kg, and then the height of let's say 170. So now just giving us the body mass index is 0, it is underweight, right? And then the body mass index is 0, right? This is funny anyway, but we will try and fix it later on, right? We need a better way to fix this one. So let's go back again to the code. I think because of how we are doing it, so we need a standard. We need to make sure that the height is always in centimeters and then the weight is always in kg, right? So that it's able to work well. Otherwise you're always going to be having error. So that's something we have to do later on. But so you have seen how to code it, right? So let's see how to write a simple test for that. So let's try this one. So let's make it like this, right? So this is going to be 1 centimeter because according to the definition of body mass, it is multiplied kilograms, right? There's kg, and then the height is in meters, right? So we need it in that. So I think the best option is that in our documentation we have to specify that the mass of the person in kg, and then this one in meters, right? Something like that. So this is going to be explicit, and then you have to create a function to make sure that everything is converted as well, right? So I'll just go back again, and then let's get out of this. Let's try it again with this 1.7, that is 1 meter, and that has given us a proper body mass index, right? Very, very interesting. So let's change it again from this to, let's give it, let's say 54. That is my weight now. Very bad. I am underweight and this is the index, right? Very simple. So we can actually make this one better, so that it doesn't print this one out. We can make it like this. So this is printing it out, but I want to, it's printing this one out, right? But I want to make sure that it is not just printing it out but also returning. So let's go with return the BMI formula. So the reason I'm doing this way is that, let's go back again, get out of this place, make sure that we have saved it. So the reason I'm doing this way is that this is going to print it out for us to give us information, but in case I want to pipe it to another function, right, to store it to a variable, this is the only one that is going to be stored, right? That's why I'm using this to approach. So I'll go back again. It's not the recommended, but at least you get the point. So let's go from health indices, import BMI, right? Let's make sure that that is what we worked on. Yeah. So I just go back again. Let's pass in BMI. I'll pass in my value, so 54 and then 1.70. Right. And now just giving us this value, right? Now if I store inside a variable, so let's go just, let's say BMI, let's go to, let's say A, something like that. So BMI 54 1.7. Apologies for the noise. So now if I go back with A, I only get the value, right? That is why we did that, to make it easy and make it like friendly. Very simple. So that in case you are using inside the terminal, you get this one. But in case, you can also make it sure that this is going to return like a dictionary or something, right? It depends upon you, right? So you can do that later on. Okay, so that is something simple. So let's write some unit test for that. I'll go back again to the same place, and I'm going to be importing it. So it's going to be from health indices import. Let's only import BMI. You can import everything. You can import everything, but let's go with import BMI, right? And let's write a simple test for the BMI. To def test, this is how I call it, test BMI. Then I'll just go with the same option. So since we are importing the BMI, I'm just going to go as my result. The BMI, I'll pass in my weight, so 54, and then 1.7, right, which is the same thing that we had here. And this one gives us as 18. So I'm going to go copy this one as 18. Yeah, I can even type it, but I don't know what I'm copying. That's going to be the result. And I'm going to go with it as set the value, like the result is equal to the 18, right? So if I get the 18, that means that the test has passed, right? There is a simple way of writing a simple test for that, right? Now how do you run the test? So I just go back again, get out of this place, still in the same location that we have our test here. Just go with PyTest, right? I'm using PyTest 3, so it's going to use Python 3 test, going to test the entire stuff here. It's going to go and look inside the current directory. Inside has tested it, and then all the tests pass, 2 tests pass in 3 seconds. In case I want more information, I just go with .v for verbose. It's going to give us more information about all of them, right? So this is a very more elaborate information. So either you go with this option, you're going to be quick, or verbose, right, which is going to be this particular one. You can also use the K option. You can also use the K option, which is going to be like this. So as you see, we had the PyTest, right? If I check this one, it gives us simple stuff. You know, I made a mistake here because this is Python 3 I'm using. In case you don't have it, this is how to install it on your system, right? But I have Python already. So we had 2 tests. In case I want to get the information, we go with v verbose, as I said already. But in case I want to see the result for, let's say, only this one, right, then I'll just go back again. So want to see the result for only the test BMI, just go with this option K, right? And I'll specify the keyword for that particular one I want to check, because in case you have a lot of tests, that is one of the ways of working with it. So that's all, it just tested for only that one, right? Very simple. That is how to write some unit tests. Now we have seen how to write our code, get our requirements, how to do some tests. Let's do some simple code refactoring before we move on to the next stage. So I'll just go back again, the same place, and then there are several ways you can do that. So I'll just get out of this place, right? And I have some packages. So some of the packages you can use for the refactoring is pip install. I have black. Let me use Python 3-m pip install. We have black, a very powerful package. We also have bandit for security. We have radon. We have which one again? these ones, we can also have Vulture to get redundant code. You can also have isort, right? There are a lot of packages, but let's import or install these ones. So that's finished installing everything. Perfect. I already have some of them, so let's check. So we can try it out. So let's check with the Radon. So with Radon, you can be able to check for the static code. It's a static code analyzer to be able to know the various parameters. So cyclomatic complexity is how much independent parts your code is going to take. The raw metrics, we have maintainability index. Is your code maintainable, right? Hosting matrix, very interesting. I'm going to calculate the number of bugs, the time, and the effort. There's a whole tutorial on that you can check in the playlist below. So let's check with the first one. I'll just go back again. For the same location we had, we have our app here. Let's move into the health index, or just go with my Radon. Then let's go with the CC into my health index folder. Then I'll pick the file. I'm checking for this. So it's telling me that it's having F is function, right? There are a lot of functions. A means that it is very easy, right? It is easy. A is easy, very simple, right? So this is going to be the line of the code. So if I go back again to this place, let me show you here, side by side. So let's run it again. You can see from here, right? As you can see, let me make it like this. Yep, as you can see, so this is F20, right? If I check the health here, so the F20, as you can see, is this one, F20, right? So that is the name, same name that is being given here, right? So F is a function because a function, 20 is a line that it is, right? And then the name of the function, and it's A. That means that it's a good one. It's good. It's not making a lot of independent decision parts, right? And then these are all the various functions there. Very nice. So you can come back again and then do more. Let's say, go back again. There are a lot of things you can do. Not only just go with the S. The S is going to give us a lot of information. So this is going to give us more. Adding S to it is going to give us the actual value, right? So this is 4, 4, 3, 1. So for me that is good. 1 means it's also very good, right? So this is the number of independent decision paths it's going to take. So you can usually use this one to refactor your code. Let's check for the maintainability index for our code. How maintainable is our code, right? Is it very maintainable? So MI. So maintainability index. And this is it. So 60, A means is good. 60 means that is 60% easy for you to maintain, right? So it's not that difficult. So you can actually maintain this code. If you get F or D, that means that you have a lot of work to do. Okay, you have to restructure the code. That is one. Now let's move on from there to the how still. How? The how doesn't take an S. So it's going to check for the number of code, right? The number of lines of code, then the vocabulary, the length of the code, which as you can see once is 189. If I go back again and check it out, we have 189, right? Yeah, it's going to exclude all of these comments. That's why it's 189. Then we also have the volume, the difficulty, how long it took, like how difficult it is to write this code, the effort it took, the time it took in seconds to write this code, and the number of bugs, right? So it's a very nice package that allows people to know more about your package. Perfect. So that is some part of the code refactoring. Now let's see if there are dead code there that we do not use. So you see dead code or dead imports, so you just go to Vulture. Vulture helps you to know some dead things you do not use, right? So Vulture, then I'll specify the path of it. So the path is health, and then health in this. If I go with it, it's going to analyze this. It's going to tell me that okay, everything is perfect. Right, it's telling me that everything is perfect. So all of them 60% confident. So unused function, right? So Vulture helps you to know imports that you know use and functions you know use, right? So all of them have not been used because I did not call them inside the function, right? So it's normal. In case let's say I import something like, let's come back again to this, right? I'm going to import pandas. So import the pandas as PD, right? Something like that. Let's save it. Now pandas is not used or called. If I go back and I check it out, so now pandas is 90%, right? The rest are 60% because I've actually defined the functions and I've not used them, but I'll use it somewhere. But pandas is a whole library that has been imported that I did not even use at all. That's why it's giving us 90%. I don't know whether I can see it. So let's go back again, right? I hope you can see it, right? So Vulture is a very nice package to help you know the functions you created and whether you use them or not. Just like in case you are using Go, you can't even compile it in Go, right? If you create a function and you don't use it. Okay, that is something very nice. So let's see how to reformat this time. So after writing your code, sometimes it's very important for you to reformat the entire stuff. So I'll copy this one here to show you the difference. Copy this, paste it, right? And let's reformat this one. So to format your code, you can use a very nice package called Black. Right. So they're going to be Black. So Black is a very nice package that allows you to be able to make sure that your code is following PyPI format, right? PEP8 format. Let's go back again. So this is it. So come back again. Bring up here. So this is how to do that, right? Very simple. So an uncompromising code formatter. It's a code reformatter, right? So let's check it out. So I'll just go back again to Black. Then I'll specify the name of the path to it, health, then the name of the package. This is disturbing. Now if I run it like that, it's going to tell me that all formatted, right? After see that all done, one file reformatted. If I go back and I check it out, see that now it has changed its variable, right? That's extracted it in a very nice format, right? As you can see, it has split it in a very nice format for us. You can see even the if condition, see how it has made it. As if I compare it with this one, let's split it into two. If I come back here, let's check it out. So I'll put this one here. In case you want to split it, just go back to, yeah, I took it out, but let's go back here and bring it back to that. Oh, apologies, my hands. Put it here. So in case you want to split it into two, just go back to the view, then the layouts. You can split into 3, 2, 4, right? That is a big understanding. So if I check this, this is the original one, the one that we have not formatted, and this is the one that we have formatted, right? With Black. And as you can see, it's almost the same, but you can see the difference, right? The difference between them, right? You'll be thinking they are the same, but if you check it out, you can see that there are some differences between them. Like for example, like this. If I come down here, that is total body, yeah. So like it's able to format it to make it better, right? And make it nicer. So that is the advantage of using Black. Very nice. You may not see the changes, but it's actually formatted well, right? Okay. Okay, so let's close this one. We don't need it. Another. Close without saving, and let's switch back to one plane. Okay, so we have been able to do some simple stuff there. Now let's see how to build this one, right? So before we build it, we need to get some documentations for it before we build it, right? So we have seen the test, everything is working. We have seen the project, but we need a readme, right? So I'm just going to go back to the same readme, which is this, and then we need to be able to write some busy stuff. So the recommended way of readme is that, first of all, there are several ways you can do that, but let's make it something very simple. Right, so this is going to be the readme, which is going to be my getting started, right? We also need something like, let's say, usage, right? We also need, let's say, API, something like that, right? And then we also need a contribution, and then author, right? You can specify a lot of things to it, but that is the basic understanding. So let's not just get with it. Let's go with why, purpose of the package, right? And we can also give something like the features, right? So let's make it this way. So purpose of the package. So the purpose of the package is to provide a collection of all health indices in one unified library, or something like that, right? So then this is, so we can just go back again, something simple. Then the features is BMI, body health indices. So example, BMI, BAI, corpulence index, piglet index, like all the various indices, right? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, etc. These are the features, right? Something very simple. You can also add, this is health indices. Let's also call it as collection of health indicators. In this case, it's going to be, let's say, mortality rate, birth rate, right? All of these things, say prevalence rate, fertility rate, right? All of these things. I can just add more documentations to it, but just to make it simple. Now let's say getting started. So for the getting started, just go with can be found on PyPI. Hence you can install health, you can install it using pip, right? So I'm going to specify the location, so bash, apologies for this, so pip install health underscore indices, right? That is how to install it on your system, right? Very, very simple. Okay, so that we are done, right? This the getting started. So let's go to getting started installation, right? Perfect. And then we can now move on to the usage. So the usage, right? Perfect. So let's write. So you can just using the short form, you can use this particular option, or using the long form. Then you can also use something like this, general result. So you can just add some more stuff or examples, right? Can just come back again and let's do the same thing. So yeah, let's go with Python. I'm going to paste in this here, right? So something like that. So let's go with this to make it look better, right? So it's always useful for you to give examples of how what is going to be shown, right? Very simple. So that's something very simple. You can now move on to the API, but we'll do that later. You can also add something about the contribution later, right? Something very simple. So this is the basic understanding, right? We have done something very basic. Now I'm going to copy the same thing. This thing we have done is the readme. You can add more things to it, but you can do that one later. So I want to get the API. I want to create one for the API. So I'm just going to go back again, create another file called API, right? That's reference.md, right? It's going to be the API. And so I just copied all the functions from here, right? I've got all the functions and I'm going to put it at the API here. So it's going to be something very simple. So from here, I'll just take off this, right? Select everything. Or let's make it like this again. So plus, I'm going to paste it back again, right? Something like this. Then this option. Now close it to the end of it. Right. So this is something very simple. So I have to just take off the def. Go back again. Where's the API? This is just to help us. Oh, where is it? Oh, let's go back. That's one of the things I just when it comes to designing. Okay, here it is. Yeah, I found it. Oh, thank God. Okay, so I just come back again. For this, please take off this. I'm going to take all of them out, right? So you have gotten all the functions there. So this is going to be, I'm going to give it a name. So this page gives an overview of all, let's say, all health functions and methods, right? Something like that. So this is something simple. So this is something simple. I'll save it here. This is part of the API reference, right? For the package, right? Okay, so let me copy this one. making sure that it's at the right place. Yeah, it's there already. Perfect. So that is something very, so this is going to be for the API, right? So we want to be sure that this thing is going to be useful in case you're trying to, how do I say it, give the documentation, right? That's why we are putting it here, right? Of course you can add a lot of things, but this is just by the way, so that now I can just come back again. We'll see what I did. And then I can actually define it downstairs. So I can define it like this. So asterisk BMI asterisk. Then I'll just put a link there. So a tag name is going to be the name there, BMI, referring to this particular name here, right? So that anytime I click on it, it's going to directly lead me to that particular place. So A. Right. And now I can just give a description here. So this is going to be separate description. So the body mass inside the BMI, or body mass index, so body mass index is a product. Is it a product? It's not a product, it's the ratio of mass to height squared, something like that, right? For individuals. This is something simple, so you can just do the same thing, so that anytime you click on it, it's going to come to this particular place. So that is something by the way. So let's compile this one before you must compile it to RST, right? So because it's not here. Now to compile it to RST, which is the recommended way for using in Poetry, I'll just go back again to the same location. Let's get out of this place, right? Come back again. As you can see, we have my RST here. As you can see, cut. There's nothing here, right? So I have to make sure that I have it in the same location. So I'll go back. Let's go back to where it is. So I'll copy it back here, right? And then if I go back and I check it out, so we have my read me here with all of these things here, right? It's having the features, the getting started, the usage. You can also add the contribution, you can also add the author. So let's say so main maintainer, right? So Jesse, you can just put your name there, and then just put the company team, something like that. You can also add contributions are welcome. So contributions are welcome. Then notice a bug. So notice a bug. Let us know, right? Then thanks, thank you, something like that. So something very simple, right? This is a very basic README. It's important to always keep a README in your app. Very nice. So I'll just go back again and then compile it to RST, because RST is the recommended way. So I'll just go back again to the same place, and I'll use Pandoc to help us with that. So to be able to convert this thing that we had here, right, to the right format, I'll just go with this option. So Pandoc, so it's going to be Pandoc, right? So Pandoc is a very nice library. You can just install Pandoc. Then Readme.md, referring to the README that we had. You can see that I checked it out. From Markdown to RST, right? I run it like that. Perfect. If I check it out again, and let's check it out. So now it has converted the README here, right, into RST. Which is a nice format. Let's change this one. Package. It's supposed to be package. It's put it wrong. Okay, perfect. So that is how to do that. You just use this particular option, Pandoc, to restructure the entire stuff. Now let's build it, right? So everything is working. So I'll go back again, making sure that everything is working. So let's go with Poetry check to make sure that everything is as expected. If you get all set, that means that everything is working well. But all set. But let's go back to the poetry.toml file here, and let's add some keywords there. So let's add a license for this particular stuff, which is going to be MIT, right? And then let's also specify the README, which is going to be the README. So Readme.md, right? And then we also need to specify the home page. So home page, where we can find the package. So the home page is going to be here. Let's go back again, which is this place, the same location, right? So I'll copy this one. then I'll paste it here, right? That is the home page. Right, so these are some of the things you need, right, to make it easy. Then you can also specify the repository, same location. Repository is mostly the same location, right, where you're going to find it, and then the keywords. So so this one can be, let's say, health indices. You can also say health indicators. Let's go with body mass index. You can add a lot of things to it. See, let's say BAI, birth rate, right? And let's add, you can also add some keywords. So your name, you can also put your name there, JCharisTech, as you wish, right? So you can just put in a lot of things. So this is the new things you're adding: the README, the license, the homepage, the repository, and then the rest. You can also have to specify some classifiers. Let's put in the classifiers there. So I'll put the classifiers, which is going to specify the type of Python version that you want to use, right? So that is the most important thing. So we have specified the name, everything is working, the description, the license, the author, the homepage where you can get it, and then the rest. So here you can actually use GitHub pages, right? But let's move on with this. So I'll go back again to the location. Let's check all set again. So additional properties are not allowed. License was unexpected because I think we spelled it wrong. It's supposed to be S, right? So that's why you have to check it. Let's run it again. All set. So that means that I can now build it. So we are done with the design of the code. Now let's move on to the build. So we'll be building the package and then building the documentation. So I'll just go back again and let's build it. So it's going to be Poetry. Let's check it out. Right, everything is working as expected. So Poetry Build. If I go with Poetry Build, it's going to go through these stages so that it's building the entire stuff for us. It has built it very, very fast, right? Now if I check it out, we have our this file, right? Inside my tree, this, you can see that it's having the wheel file, right, and the tar file, right? So this was going to be published to PyPI. Now let's push the entire stuff to PyPI here. So the first thing that I can use PyPI.test, we can just move on straight away to this option. So I'll just come back again to my browser. Before I move it to PyPI, let's also push it to GitHub, right? Before I move it to PyPI. So I'll come back again. This is it. It is found here. So to push it to GitHub. Yeah, already here. So I can just go straight away to this option and put it to GitHub. So git add, let's check it out, git status. Yeah, perfect. So what I'm going to be adding there is I'm going to be adding this one and this one, right, to it. So it's going to be this option. So git add the health in this one, and then the license, and then the readme. Right, now git commit -m, say health indices v.001. Perfect. See, and you can see what I did. I made a mistake by committing these files. These are not supposed to be committed, right? These things are not supposed to be committed. These files, you must ignore these ones, right? But we will do that later. So let's commit, push it. So git push, as for the name, and then you just pass in your code, right? So I'll push it to GitHub, right? Perfect. So if I go back again to here and I check it out, wow, we have our package here together with all the things that we need, right? So I prefer to put it first of all to GitHub first before I do anything. So, and I committed that this is not supposed to be committed. Wow, I see you're making a lot of mistakes. So I have to delete these ones because we don't need to commit this file, right? This is a bad way of committing. That's why you need, right? That's why we need a git ignore file to ignore all of this thing. I should not even push this one here. It is a bad way. Pushing an executable PyPI, right? on GitHub. So everything is working, you can get the documentation. It's easy for everybody to use, right? Very nice. Now what I have to do is that we have built the package, we want to deploy it. You have put it on GitHub, we want to deploy it to PyPI. So I'll just go back again, making sure that I'm in the same location, moving to the app itself here, right? So let's go back to our repository here. Okay, making sure that you get in this right place. Then I just go with Poetry, right? Publish. If I go with Poetry Publish, it's going to ask me for my name. So my username, just say JCharis, then your password. And then I just uploading it to PyPI, right? Perfect. So that uploaded to PyPI. If I go back again to PyPI and I check for it, because I use that particular name, let's go with health indices. It's still not coming. Let's check it out again. Yeah, it's taking some time for it to come. Was it uploaded? Yes, it was uploaded. So this is the name we used, health indices, right? You have to make sure that you're using the same name there, health underscore indices. Let's check it out. Go back. Wow, that name is a very, very powerful name. So let's add sort by relevance. We still can't find it, but don't worry, we'll find it. I'll just go back to my location, my actual account. You see it, so PyPI. Okay, so the next thing that you must create an account on PyPI, right? For you to be able to publish your package, you have to create an account on test PyPI and then PyPI, which is here, right? So very simple. You just register and create an account that I know go through. So I'll just go back again to my location. There's it. You can see the one I published here. So I can just view it. And the package is there, right? So in case I want to install it, you just go with pip install health indices. Right? Very simple. So I think the naming was because of the underscore, the naming is going to be this option. So I have to check the documentation and make sure that I install it in the right way. So I have to modify this one, right, in the future. Otherwise, if I go back to my app itself, this is general stuff, and I want to install it. So sudo python 3-m, right? So this is how to install it. We are trying to check and see whether it's working. So that means that I have to make sure that I correct this one here for the readme. I have to correct this. Wait, yeah, this one. I have to correct this one to this, right? Because that was the name we give inside the py.toml file here, right? That's why it's given us that option. It has finished installing. Perfect. Now let's see whether we can work on it. So Python 3. So import health underscore indices. Wow, everything is working as expected. So DRL health indices. Perfect. So the app is working. The app has now been published, or the package, right, an app, to PyPI, right? We have deployed it to PyPI. Very, very simple, right? So the next option is we want to be able to make documentations for it. So how do we make documentations for it? We already have some simple documentation here. So if I come back to the app, which is this place, you have to modify these things, right? So we'll modify them later. If I come back here to the app, it is the app itself, and I come to the home page, it's going to direct us to the repository, right? Health indices. That is a form of documentation. So you can use the wiki option to also add some documentation to it. But let's use GitHub pages, right, to help us with that. So I'll just go back again to the same place, and then we will work on the GitHub pages stuff. So let's get out of this. Yep, right. here's it, location. We already have our readme, right? So we will be, let me remove this folder. Yeah, I can remove it later. So I want to add some stuff to it to build the documentation for this, right? So what I will do is that I will go outside of this place, right? Get out of this place, and then make a temporal folder to temp for the held in this. Move into this temp for the held in this, right? Then I'm going to make the documentation. So to build the documentation, we are using Mkdocs, right? So to install it, just go with this option. So sudo python 3. You can just go straight away with this. So pip install Mkdocs, right? This to help us with the documentation. I have already installed, so I just go straight away with this Mkdocs. That should help, and then you can just check it out. I have a whole tutorial on that one only, right? Very simple. It's a project documentation with Markdown. So I just create my location, so my project, so docs new. As you can see, right, there's new, there's Github deploy, that's what we're using. Then I'm just going to call it as my held indices, right? So we're going to create another folder project, which you can see here. If I check it out, we have the held indices, and if I check this held indices, we have the Markdown file. So I'll open it with Sublime again, and as you can see, there's nothing here, right? Only the Markdown. So I'm going to change this one from the site name to held indices, right? That's the name of the package. Then the site URL, I'm going to be giving the site URL to the one I have here, this one. This is what we're using, right? So I'll copy this one. That's going to be my site URL, right? Perfect. Then that's why I'll be hosting it, because I'm hosting it on GitHub. Then I also have to specify some other stuff like the navigation. So for the navigation, we'll be having our home, which is going to be our readme, right? Or can just go with my index.md file, right? Then also need to create another one for the API reference, so API, which we already created, which is going to be API reference.md. Then let's create another one for the about, or we can create another one for usage guide. It's going to be user guide.md. Is it usage guide or user guide? Anyhow you call it. So I'll put this one at the right place. Copy this one here, right? Perfect, right? So we need to get our index.md file. We need to get our user.md file. So I'll just go back again to these files here. So we had our readme, we have our API guide. So I'm going to copy those ones from here. Where am I? We had it here. We have this one. Now I'll copy this one. So I'll copy this one to the location. So let's copy this, the readme, to the docs. Then we also need to copy the Markdown file, the API reference. Where is it? I don't remember where I placed it. But we find it anyway. Let's check it out here. This was the API. I'll copy this one. Then I'll go back again to where the Markdown is. So here, right, you have our readme file, which is going to be for the index, right? So this, I can call it as readme, but let's call it as index. So let me rename this one to index, right? Which is referring to the home page. Then we have the API reference. I'll create another file, paste in the code, save this one as API reference. The API reference, so that we have these two there. So we have the index, the user guide. So we also need to create another one for the user guide. So let's go to the user guide.md, and there's nothing here. So I'll just go back to the main file, copy some of the code from here. Usage, yeah, let's go to this one. Here, paste it here, or something like that. something simple. So we have 3 different files. We have the home, the user guide, and the API, right? API reference, right? Or API. Let's make it like this, API. Everything is working as expected, right? Now, how do we build it? So to build it, I just go back again. Remember, that is the location. We have all our files there. To build it, just go straight away with this option. You have to make sure that these things here, this and this are in the docs file, right? Not outside. They must be, this must be inside the docs file. The index must also be inside the docs file, not outside of it. Everything must be here, replace. This one must also be in the docs file, right? Very important. So if I go back and I check it out, so 3. Now this is how it's supposed to be. So all of them must be inside the doc file, right? Now let's build it. So to be able to let's first serve it, Mkdocs Serve. So you have to see the result, right? So it's telling me that does not exist, right? I have to get out of this. CD into temp folder. CD into health. You have the docs.markdown. Make sure that it's there. So Mkdocs Serve. It's now building, so it needs the markdown file. It's going to be, it's giving us the perfect URL, which is the URL that we supplied here, right? Health indices. So it's going to be using this one, right? Then the documentation. So I'll just go back again, copy this to my browser. And voila, so we have the health indices, the package name, we have the home page, right, with all of the various information on it. Very nice. We have the user guide, right, with the information about how to work with the app. We have the API reference with all the various API, right? So this was not well formatted, so we need to format it well. That's why it's given us. So let's go back again and format the API. So it was not formatted well. So how do I format it? So I just copy this entire stuff. Let's see. Go back again. No, this is not here. Eternito. So let's go back to the docs because we moved it from there. So let's select all of this. Make some space. Let's check it out. So I'll go back. I want it to be nice. Yeah, this is better, right? But I need to take off this. I need to take off this plus. So let's see. No, let's make it like this. Yeah, perfect. So I go back again. Now perfect. This is better, right? So if I click on the BMI, because I used this hashtag here and I use the anchor tag here, right, with the name. If I click on this, so that's going to this particular place. So you can do the same thing for the rest, right? So you can do the same thing for the rest, right, which we will do later. But this is good, and now I can actually search for something. In case I want to search. So let's search for something like, let's say, picnet index, right? Then that has come, it's found inside the API index. If I go back with BMI, can find it here inside the API reference, inside the examples, and the rest, right? So it's a very nice feature coming from Mkdocs, right? Very nice. Now this is nice, but I want to get it in a better format. I want to get it like the normal Readthedocs. So I have to add some documentations to it. The theme. So I'll go back again, specify the theme I want to use, and call the theme Readthedocs, right? So if I save it, the entire theme is going to change from this one to the normal Readthedocs, right? This is better, and this one looks nice and fanciful. Very nice. We have finished building our documentation using Mkdocs. So the steps are very simple. We just have to, first of all, download the package. What we did for that one was that we downloaded the package, pip install Mkdocs, and this was Mkdocs to see the help. We created a new project, Mkdocs.new project. Then we saw the structure. We opened it and then we created some simple markdown file. Then we went to the Mkdocs.yaml file, which was this file, we specify the name, we specify the URL, we specify the navigation, which is going to be the 3 stuff we had, and then we specify the theme. Then in case when you wanted to build it, we just come down here to show you, just go with Mkdocs Serve when you're working on it, and after that let's see how to build it. So to build it, as you can see, we have only 2 files, but in case I want to build it, just go with Mkdocs Build. So it is going to build a site file, right? So clean the site repository. If I check it out, we have the site file, right? So this site file is going to consist of all the things there. So tree site, you can see that we have all the various HTML. So it's going to convert all the markdowns to HTML, right? Very, very simple. Together with the images, the API is converted everything to HTML. The CSS, you can actually modify them as expected. Now let's publish it to GitHub, right? To publish it to PyPI rather. So what I'll do is that I'll move this one and this one to the location, and then work on it. So I'll come back here. I'm moving this one and then this one to my Rail package to here, right? I'm moving it here. So we have the docs. This is the package itself. I want to also move this one to, we have to take off this. Let's take off this. We don't need this. And I'll move it here. So we have our docs there. So if I go back and I check it out, feed into the health, the one we cloned, right? If I check it out, right, we have everything there. So this is what we'll be trying to push there, right? Very nice. So everything is there. Now let's build it. So to build it or to deploy it, first of all, just go with Mkdocs gh deploy. So gh deploy means that use GitHub deploy to deploy it. This is a GitHub repository, so it's going to deploy it firstly for us. So building it, check-in, it's going to deploy it here. It's going to create a GitHub branches page, as you are seeing from here. So GitHub branches page and push into GitHub. So let's add my name, JCharis. I spelled it wrong. Then your username and your password. So I'll paste my password here. I'm going to push it to GitHub, right? Together with the docs and the site. Perfect. So that's pushing to your documentation. So your documentation shortly is available here, right? So let me copy this one and let's open it. So let's copy this link and let's open it here. So this is the one we were designing. Let's check the one that has been deployed. Voila, right? You can see that we have seen how to publish it there. So this one, anybody in the world can have access to this. The purpose of it, very cool. The features, the getting started page, installation, the usage, everything is there. Wow. And then you can see that we can get the user guide page. You can get the API page, right? So with time you'll be updating it, adding a lot of things to it. So you have seen how to publish to GitHub pages. So the order we need was put inside the same location that we had our folder, our GitHub repository with our code. Then just go with Mkdocs gh deploy. Then it's going to create a branch called gh branch, gh pages branch. Then it's going to deploy everything. So if I go back to the main repository, if I check it out, see that we have my, let's refresh it. The main branch doesn't have it, right? It's always recommended that you have a branch for the docs, right? So I check it out. So we have all the various things there, right? That's compiled everything to CSS HTML, right? Very, very nice. So that is how to work it. So be able to get the link, you can just go back again to get where the link was. You can just go back here to the settings. There's another alternative way. Then you just go back to the pages. So settings, pages. Then you're going to see that, see it here. So GitHub pages, your site is published at this particular place, right? You can also actually change it if you want to a different repository, but I prefer this one. And in case you also want to give a custom domain name, maybe to your own site, you paste that one here. So I'll copy this one here, right? This thing, copy this link, So there was it. Copy the link, and then I'll go back to my readme file. Notice this one's, we can even put inside the user index, and let's tell the user that you can get more here. So you can check out the links. So let's make it like this. Contributions, let's go back again. Documentation. So you can check out the full documentation here, right? So I'll paste it here. So there's a link. I think it's supposed to be this option, which is the same thing we use for this. It's supposed to be the other way around. This, right? So this is going to be the link to that particular place, right? For the machine here. So like if I update it now, this is going to be part of the app itself, and this I'm going to also paste on my readme file. So I'll go back to the readme itself, which is here, right? So you can also check out the documentation here. That is something very simple. So thank you for watching this long tutorial. So you have seen how to design an app, build it as a package, and deploy it on PyPI, build the documentation, and using Mkdocs, and deploy it on GitHub pages. So thank you for watching. So in case you have any question or contribution, you can just let us know in the comment section below, and let's see what you come out with this wonderful process. So see you another time. Stay blessed. Bye. And one more thing, you can also check our Patreon channel for more, right? For more details. And then in case you need the code, I'm going to try and see how to write this entire stuff as a tutorial on our page, and you can also check it out. So check the link below for some more materials. See you another time.